and we've got Michael Charles joining us. He might not be on camera, but he is joining us quickly. So, and he is out at the moment. And I just wanted to say, Randall, the one thing that when you were sharing about the information sharing aspect, the kind of thing, a picture I had in my mind is this kind of peekaboo, I know everything about you kind of mentality, like there's no sort of privacy left. So
Yeah,
yeah, so Mike, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I know you are very busy and we're not going to necessarily get you on camera. So we have been talking today about the legal challenge. We have had some donations in, not as many as I'd like. It hasn't shifted in the last while. So I would like to see the more donations come in. But and Randall has just been talking about the human rights aspects of where things are heading, and that this legal challenge needs a challenge on the basis of human rights. I don't know if you're able to unmute and join us. We have had some technical issues with some people today, so please do let us know if you're having difficulty joining us on the Zoom call today. I don't know if he's able to. Oh, there he
hello.
has been.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Yes, thank you so much. So I know you haven't been able to see what we've been talking about. But yeah, this is really a human rights issue, isn't it?
Well, there's only one vehicle that you can use to challenge an act of parliament, and that's because there is an act of parliament that permits you to do so, namely the Human Rights Act. And what I'm saying, and I hope that people who might have been participating today might have had the opportunity to have read the letter before claim that I had issued. And within that letter, I have said that for over 150 years, parents have generally been trusted to make the decisions about what constitutes the best interests of their children. And for the first time in so many years, the state is empowering itself to make a best interest override, so that in certain circumstances, the state can decide whether your child can be home educated. And there are two circumstances within which that can be applied. The first is when you are within a special school, you would have to seek the state's consent to withdraw the child from a special school, or where you are subject to a Section 47 investigation. And we all know, many of us will be aware, that Section 47 can be triggered often by false material, false information, or a misjudgment. But where you have a Section 47 instigated and a finding, even if it were a provisional finding, that will prevent you from exercising normal parental autonomy to decide where you would want your child to be educated. And so that is, I think, the first of its kind. It's not in any way, in my view, satisfactory. It's lawful, I would say, an intrusion into the rights of parents, interference with their parental autonomy, and then obviously an interference with their Article 8 rights. And the state argue, and they claim in succinct terms, that we are premature in our application. There's other reasons, by the way, why this challenge is being brought, but those are the primary reasons, alongside the data sharing provisions, which we say is unnecessary. It's a disproportionate way to monitor the actions of parents. So we say that's disproportionate. They say that we are acting prematurely on the grounds that the statutory regulations have not yet been drawn up. We say that is not the case, because the Act of Parliament is in itself empowering the state to have these powers, whereas the regulations can only do what the Act of Parliament tells the state that it's authorised to do. Namely, it has the best interest override. That's already in place because of the legislation, whereas the statutory regulations is simply going to explain the processes that will achieve those statutory aims. So we think that if we wait much longer, we will lose the chance to challenge the Act of Parliament, because if we wait until the statutory regulations, our primary claim would be that that the Act is incompatible with the Human Rights Act, and no doubt the state will then say that we're out of time. So you can't win in these situations. Yeah. It's extremely troubling, so worrying for so many parents. You know, I've spoken a lot about this and dealt with a lot about this online, but I think that the long and short of it is we're in for a shout. The barrister who we've instructed is enthusiastic. He praised my letter before claim. He said it was exceptional. He also felt that my response to government, which I haven't published, but in succinct terms, I said that they, at first blush, when you look at what the state has been saying, you might be impressed by their argument. It might sound compelling, but they are only extracting in their argument certain paragraphs of judgments of the court without looking what the appellant judgments have said, and without looking, more importantly, at what the Grand Chamber has said in the European Court of Human Rights. So I think we're in for a shout. It's a huge task. There's no doubt it's a huge amount of effort. It's taken an enormous amount of time. We're primarily looking for witnesses to help us with the claim. And I published a post on my Facebook page a day or so ago where I explained, if you meet the criteria that I've summarized, we want simplicity. We just want really a parent to say, ideally, who is, let's say, having a child educated within, let's say, a dyslexia school or a school for mild conditions, which would otherwise, that child would otherwise be treated as a mainstream candidate, to be able to say, actually, I don't want my child to be subjected to the state having such interference, and to say, I don't like that. Although my child is happy in a special school, we would not want the state to prevent us from choosing another school should the circumstances for my child change. That's a very simple statement, and we're needing that because a lot of parents who do provide their explanations go into a lot of detail about what their circumstances are, and of course that might overcomplicate it. And another person would be someone who is on a we would call it, to excuse the language, an unconventional form of education, not necessarily what we would typically expect in a mainstream school. Say someone who's on equine provision or forest school provision, to say that my child is thriving through that, and to the idea of them being prevented from pursuing their love and their career aspirations in those different components in their life, would be an unlawful infringement. So we want someone to say that too. And then, of course, so simple witness statements along those lines is what we're looking for. I'm sorry, I talked a lot there.
Yeah.
So
no, that's fine, because at least you know what you're talking about, which I think is very important. And, you know, I'm very fond of saying, you know, the law is the law. So you're talking about, you know, if they bring in the secondary you know, legislation, the regulations and so on, it does not change the law, what the law says.
No.
And that's what the previous, we have used the previous laws as a bedrock on which to stand in upholding our rights in respect of home education, but because that exists. But if that's where it all starts, is with the law itself, the original act. And Indeed. The thing that concerns me the most, there's been such a mistrust of parents that's developed, such a mistrust. But yet we know the state has got a pretty bad record itself of actually doing what's right for children.
Oh, that is so true. I mean, and the thing is, one only has to look at the EOATAS consultation document to see what the state's view is in respect to home-educated children. It's pretty clear what they are going to, in the circumstances when you are holding an EHCP and a child with special needs requires education other than within a school, the state is saying that you will lose your opportunity to challenge a decision to cease to provide education otherwise than at school for the child. You can't challenge that, and you won't be able to pursue an aim to secure that within an EHCP. That's what the state is actually telling us. So I think the writing's on the wall in relation to education otherwise than at school. In regard to elective home education, I don't think it's really much different, to be honest. I think the state is looking at this now, and it's treading further and further into these rights with a view. I have no doubt the idea ultimately is to stop it. I got no doubt about that.
Yeah, I don't call it treading; I call it steamrolling. So,
well, yes, I think you're absolutely right about that. I will come on camera just quickly to say hello. So just say that. Here we go. Because I'm in a very beautiful part of the world. You probably see it. Look at that. Look at that beautiful park.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
really
I'm
lovely.
actually at a funeral.
Well, we really appreciate you taking the time to join us. This is such an important cause, and we really, really need to support this as much as possible. So please, we are here today. You'll see we've called this the power of many, because there are many of us. There are enough. And yes, the crowdfunder gives you a minimum of £5 that you can donate. But if you are stretched, join up with a few other people with your £1 or your 50p's and get that money in to donate. But we do not want anyone being put out of pocket as well. If your children need food and it's between that and this, obviously we don't expect you to starve your children to support this, but encourage others to support it. And we need to see this fund grow significantly so that Sarah and Mike and anyone else working on this, they know they've got the support and they can carry on without any financial worries about it at all.
Yeah, can I also say just quickly, and before I go,
yes,
you're absolutely right about that. I mean, we've managed to secure through the promotion on Facebook, we managed to secure around £32,000, I think, or thereabouts.
You're heading for 34.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought it was 32, but we managed to secure that, and it's going to be taken up. I mean, the KC, for example, is going to cost a formidable amount of money. There's no doubt that the government is planning for around a £250,000 fight here, so we will run out of money quite soon. And not forget that we also have the problem about, should we fail, we don't want Sarah or indeed Eva to be out of pocket or to face a cost order. So we need a level of protection for their bravery. And I think without that funding, I think they'll be vulnerable.
Yes, and so this is why we're here today, is just to encourage people to help us to raise the money. It is entirely possible. It is. You don't need to put in a load of money, but we need everyone who can, everyone who's affected, everyone who understands the implications of this act to contribute. So please, you need to continue to share this. And we are hopefully going to have Rachel join us to talk a little bit about, well, actually, she's not joining us. I think she sent a message, but we will hear a little bit about some ideas of how you can raise funds, and we will talk a bit about that. So thank you so much, Mike, for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you all for doing what you can, and I hope to see you again soon. I'll be posting about it. There'll be some developments this week because we'll have the draft grounds available tomorrow. Sunday, I'm expecting them, and we're hoping to issue the proceedings. Well, we have to issue the proceedings by a week Tuesday.
Okay, we're all right behind you, Mike.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye now.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you.